Well, hello everyone. This is Alex Namath along with Laura Lester. Today we're really going to the mailbag. We're going to try to answer some of the questions that people have submitted to us, and rather than just us pontificating on the things that we know. So spend some time with us. These are real questions from real people with real concerns. So that's a great question because while we're an adult day center, so they're only here during the day, there's a lot more time that you're with your loved one than they are with us, which is obviously going to include evenings and weekends. So we've got some tips for you on the weekends. You want to pick up one, Laura?
I think that on nights and weekends, routine.
Mhm.
Very important to set a routine. As long as they do everything that they do at the same time, it's comforting to them. It helps with their anxiety level.
Sure.
So I would say number one is create a good routine.
Right. Yeah, I know one of the questions in the mailbag was a lady that was taking care of her mother, I think, and she was asking us, so how to help me with my mother because my routine is different every day.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I work at night, sometimes I have to work on the weekends, long hours, short hours. How do I communicate that to my loved one? Well, the reality is the routine that needs to change has to be your own.
Yeah, because they can't adapt to different schedules every day.
That's right.
For the most part, I would say 99% of them can't handle that.
Right.
So they need a structured environment that is pretty much the same every day. Now, at our day center, we have different activities every day. We don't have the same activities, but we have different activities at the same time. So, like every 30 minutes, we'll change activities. And they don't really remember what the activities were anyway the day
Right.
before, but they know that they engaged and we keep it on the same routine. We eat at the same time every day. We, I mean, if we're literally 5 minutes late with lunch, it affects some of our guests. So
Mhm.
we have to stay on a routine. So I would say that that's very important at home in the evening too. Our hope is that we are so busy during the day that your loved one is tired when they get home. And hopefully they can go to bed early
Sure.
and sleep through the night. So that's our goal anyway. So if you just have dinner at the same time every night, if there's time to engage in an activity, have it be a calming activity,
Right.
like most anybody can fold clothes, and as long as they feel like they're being useful, then you could do that together and it'd be something that they can do for you. Just say, hey, I've got this laundry, I've worked all day, would you mind helping me with this?
Mhm.
If you ask them the right way, a lot of times they will help you, and that's a good activity that you can help them wind down for the evening. What we found is if they're bored, they become anxious. So if you give them some activity to do prior to going to bed, a lot of times that calms them down and keeps them from becoming anxious. And also, I would limit the sweets
Mhm.
at night. I would limit sugar and caffeine if at all possible, because
Sure.
you want them to be.
And be aware that you still may need some time to yourself on these weekends.
Yeah,
That you don't have to be with them every minute.
right.
And they may be watching TV. They may not be absorbing anything as they watch it, but yet they're relaxed. They're in a relaxed state, and that gives you your opportunity to decompress if that's what you need to do, or take care of other matters within the house at the same time. So give yourself some latitude to take care of yourself, because if you don't, then it's not long till you're a burnout. They're going to recognize that you're anxious.
And
They
they'll
become
be
more
anxious.
anxious, right, Laura? And they start feeding off each other.
Mhm. Now, one thing I'd like to say about TV watching, I think you need to be very careful with what you have on TV for your loved one to watch, because eventually they're going to start thinking whatever happened on the TV happened to them. And you don't want anything negative. You don't want them watching anything that is scary or stressful or negative. Like the news is a terrible thing for someone with dementia to watch because it's always very stressful,
Mhm.
or things that happen. They don't cover good news. Um, CSI, all that kind of stuff. I would try not to watch that with our loved one or have them watch that on TV. Your best tips for TV watching, if you do need a break, would be maybe put on a musical, because even if they can't follow the plot, the singing and dancing will keep them
Mhm.
entertained. And so that's something. Or maybe something like putting on a comedy movie never works because it they can't follow the plot line. So if this happened at the beginning of the movie and then several things happened in between, and at the end something funny happened because of what happened in the beginning, they're not going to remember that. So it's not going to be funny to them.
Mhm.
So I would say if you want them to laugh, which laughter is the best medicine, put on something like funniest home videos where this happens, boom, it's funny. You know, something where they don't have to follow a
Mhm.
plot line. But if you can have them laughing or something that has music, which is very good for their brain, those are the things that I would concentrate on having them watch on TV. So,
Sure. And I think the other thing you need to have is, and we've talked in other videos, I believe, on redirection.
mhm.
That's a situation where they're doing something that could be harmful to themselves,
Yeah,
harmful to you, or they're simply asking the same question over and over again and redirecting them. Hopefully, what you've created is this bag of redirection tools.
yeah,
So it's your toolbox, right?
right,
So you know that when you're in that situation, that this works 90% of the time.
right.
And it might be, or I understand you're anxious about that, or I understand your concerns. Let's go have a lemonade. If you found that to work in the past, then it'll probably work in the future as well until it doesn't work any longer. But to have a number of them so you're not trying to just wing it when you're in those situations, but rather you have the tools in your toolkit. I think a good one is a photo album
hmm
in the living room, just sitting on the coffee table. This is something they really enjoy doing together. Just typically pictures are going to be pictures of things that happened in the past for which they remember or feel have good emotion about. It's something they can even do on their own if you're looking for that time where you need to take care of other matters while you're in there in the house.
I want to say a couple of words about redirection techniques in that until you are able to assuage whatever they're worried about, they're not going to be able to be redirected. So if they're worried about something, they're sharing it with you because they trust you. They know that they have a deficit. So they know that they're not able to handle whatever it is that they're worried about. So they share it with you. And really, what they want you to say is, don't worry about that anymore. I've got this. I'll handle it. So they give you their concern, and you can very confidently tell them, don't worry about that.
Mhm.
I've got that. Don't worry about that. This is what I'm going to do to solve that. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Hey, did you see the flowers that I planted out back? Change the subject after you redirect. So, but first you have to comfort them with whatever it is they're worried about. It may be even something ridiculous that isn't something to worry about, but they're worried about it and they've shared it with you. And so, what you have to do is give them the impression, I'm on your side and I've got this. You don't have to worry about that anymore. So,
Yeah, it's
that's
part of the overall strategy of
mhm,
dignity and respect.
mhm, mhm.
They deserve it. When anybody is anxious, typically we go up to them and say, I'm sorry you're anxious. You tell your spouse that if they didn't have it. You want to do the same thing
Mhm.
with your loved one
Yeah.
now that they have dementia as
But
well.
yeah, but they want you to handle it because they know they can't. And so if you confidently tell them, I got this, you don't have to worry about that anymore. A lot of times that really helps. Pacing is a sign of
Hmm.
distress. If you see them starting to pace, you know that they're anxious about something. And sometimes pacing is good for them because it helps them work off that anxiety. So I'm not saying don't stop them from pacing, but it gives you a clue that there's something that is going on. So you may want to pace with them and just engage them. Hey, what's going on? Is there something I can help you with? What's just engage. Ask them a very friendly, upbeat question.
Hmm.
As much as upbeat as you can stay on the weekends, if you can stay upbeat, you can. Emotions are contagious. They'll pick up that upbeat attitude and they'll be upbeat as well. And this is a stressful situation. A lot of times, if you're feeling stress, they're going to feel stress. So if I can give you one tip that's above all others, it's try to control your emotions and try to be as upbeat as possible because your experience with your loved one will be much better if you
Sure. And also, I would say is just to approach them. Maybe they're just sitting there at the time and you're preparing dinner. It's just to go out and touch them
Yeah.
and talk to them and look them straight in the eyes, right?
Yeah.
Because that's part of the emotion is the visual emotion, not only in your voice. And say, I love you, or
Yeah.
we did a great job raising those kids. Aren't we so proud of our boys or our
Yeah.
girls? You're not looking for anything back, but you're giving that reassurance because we don't know. That anxiety may be building.
Yeah.
And we want to try to nip it in the bud before it becomes something greater.
Another thing, when you do approach them, always approach them from the front
Mhm.
because with dementia, for some reason, their peripheral vision is off. So they have like with me, I can see my hands on both sides. With a dementia patient, their peripheral vision is more like this. So if you approach them from the side, you'll startle them and frighten them sometimes. So you might want to always, if you're coming from behind them or on the side, say something. Hey, it's me, Laura. I want to tell you something. Or come over and approach them from the front
Mhm.
because that way they see you coming and they're not frightened. So that's a very important tip in just dealing with your loved one.
Mhm. So I think a lot of it comes in planning,
Yeah,
right? And if you're not a planning person, you need to become one
yeah,
because your days are going to become more stressful.
yeah,
And I think one of the most effective things you can do is to lay out a plan that the family agrees to. And this is you and your spouse and even the kids that are living in the house. So they understand what your expectations are, and obviously have the expectations of their father, mother,
mhm.
grandparent, whoever is living with them.
Yeah. You have
Um,
as a member of the sandwich generation that has responsibilities with their kids and also with their mom and dad. You've got a lot. You're being pulled in multiple directions, so you're going to really need help. So I would say um, recruit
mhm.
family members to help you and try not to do it all by yourself. You can you can utilize a respite like what we do at our center. You can drop mom and dad off at our
Mhm.
place while you deal with the kids. Sometimes the kids are just natural helpmates for their grandparents. For some reason, depending on the age of the children, but the younger the children, the more naturally they are inclined to deal with a dementia patient. They do very, very well. As they become teenagers and above it, they're a little bit less naturally inclined to help with the grandparent. But I would utilize what I had. I would call friends and family to help. Maybe you have a doctor's appointment that you have to do with mom and dad, but one of your kids has soccer practice. Get one of the other family members or um, neighbors to maybe take the kid to the soccer practice, and then you do your obligation with the so it's just, as Alex said, it's planning. It's
Right.
planning and using the resources that you have, whatever they are.
That's right. And trying to create this calm environment,
Yes.
even when you have either grandkids or
Yeah.
teenagers running around the house. Um, Typically, there's chaos associated with that,
Yeah.
and you're going to have to ask for their support in creating this calm environment then for
Yeah.
the
Because
loved ones that are living in the house.
a lot of times chaos is too much for a dementia patient to deal with, and they may act out.
Hmm.
And it's difficult if you have all these things, all this chaos going on, and you have a dementia patient that's acting out at the
Sure.
same time. They're going to demand all the attention if
Right.
you know if that happens. So if you just pre-plan and try to keep the environment as calm as possible, then you'll have less and less stress there.
Mhm. Well, I think part of it, of course, is educating the kids
Hmm.
and anybody else that needs to, besides the person with the disease.
Hmm.
Um, where we're at with the disease, being very
Hmm.
frank about it,
Hmm.
um,
Like,
giving them some of the tips and strategies that we have in dealing with people with dementia, um, so that we're all on the same page. And it may be family meetings, maybe once a week.
that's what I was going to say.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Perfect.
To
You
say,
read my
okay,
mind.
what can we do? How did we do last week? Kind of
Mhm.
do a self-evaluation.
Mhm.
What kind of week do you think Grandpa had? What
And
did you see? Is
and
there some
give
things that we can do?
and give each other grace, because we're all going to make mistakes.
Hmm.
Don't plan just like with the holiday talk. It's never going to be perfect. And if you expect perfection, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to be frustrated. So, as long as you manage your expectations and you forgive yourself and you forgive others, don't hold them to too high a standard, because mistakes are going to happen. They're just going to happen. And so, just know that ahead of time and prepare for it, and just be very offer grace whenever someone else makes a
Sure.
mistake, and maybe they'll give you grace when you make a
That's right.
mistake.
I think also you need to look at what's the financial plan going to be, right? Here you are as this sandwich generation, paying off potentially your student loans,
Yeah.
worried about your kids and the student loans they're going to have at
Yeah.
some point in time, and now the financial needs of your loved one. I think you need to have then this new, bigger picture of everything that's going on
Right.
to make you feel more comfortable about, okay, it's part of the plan, and part of that plan is the financial plan, not just the medical plan as well.
Yeah.
Well, just like caregivers that are not the sandwich generation, but there are other people going through the same thing they are. There's no question about that going forward. So then we start to reach out. We bring up if faith-based support groups might be one
Yeah.
for them.
Mhm.
That is attended by that generation, the sandwich generation. There are support groups sponsored by the Alzheimer's organization, supported by
Mhm.
other private individuals that are out there as well. Again, to share what they're doing, pick up the tips and strategies from the people that are in the trenches just like they are.
Mhm. Well, it sounds like too, like one of the main things that you would be worried about, especially in this situation, would be burnout.
Mhm.
So how do you go about like protecting against that for a caregiver?
Well, burnout is also taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
So it comes back to you can't be perfect, so you're going to
Right.
fail. There's
Right.
no question
So
about it.
give yourself permission for that.
That's right. And knowing that, and knowing that nobody has finite ability to be able to take care of people with dementia,
Right.
then we've got to build in to then our care plan, how we take care of ourselves,
Right.
and understand that there's going to be times when you and your husband need to go take a break.
Right.
So we've got the family members engaged. We've already introduced them to them. And now I'm going out of town for the weekend.
Mhm.
They're all yours. I'm available if you need me. But the reality is I got to recharge my batteries.
Mhm.
And that's a result of not only taking care of their kids, but also their loved one.
And our goal at Encore is when you drop your loved one off with us, that you can completely relax. So that's part of self care and a way to avoid burnout. You do whatever you want to do. If you want to just go home and sleep, for however long that your
That's
loved one is with us, then do that, because know that they're in good hands
Mhm.
and that they're happy. And it may take a little while before you can do that, because in the beginning, your loved one may be resistant to coming
Mhm.
here. It's very common. Matter of fact, I'd say 99.9% of the people are resistant in the beginning. But if you come into our center at any given time, you will hear laughter, you will feel joy. You see all these happy people that are here. Every one of those people had a period of being anxious in the beginning. And so once we get past that, you can completely relax. And that is our goal for you, that you
Sure.
can get the respite that you need every day.
Yeah, and your doctor, especially a neurologist, will tell you that socialization
Mhm.
by having your loved
Mhm.
one stay socially engaged. An adult day center is probably one of the best ways you can
Right.
do it,
It's better than medicine.
because we're educated at that. Is more powerful than any medication that they can provide to your
Yeah.
to your mom or your dad. So there should be no guilt of the fact that you can't take care of them. You've got a lot of other things, a lot of other moving parts, and now you're really giving them a prescription. And we've had neurologists actually hand the caregiver a prescription for adult day services,
Mhm.
which also makes the person with the disease feel comfortable, because now it's an actual prescription of health. And for them to understand that now it's a prescription not only for the person with the disease, but as a prescription for the caregiver, that poor sandwich generation child that's trying to do everything.
Sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't.
That's right.
Because if they've lost their ability to reason, it's not going to matter.
Hmm.
And a lot of people lose their ability to reason right away. So, but we've been doing this a long time, so we can help with that too.
Sure.
We have tips and strategies for pretty much every situation.
That's right.
But every now and then we'll find a situation that we've never encountered,
Sure.
and we learn how to maneuver through that
That's
too.
right. Yeah. Drop those into the mailbag. We
Yeah.
appreciate tips and strategies that you've also used
Yeah.
that's helped you with your loved ones. Because as we've talked about before, everybody's an individual,
Right.
and what works for one, like Laura said, doesn't necessarily work for everybody else.
Doesn't always.